moving between them using keyframes. Second example, using custom properties. Get ready. Get wowed. Not this one. Transforms with properties. Oh. So what's changing here? Now we're changing x, y in rotation. X is changing linearly, and y is too. But it looks, when they change together, like a normal shield being thrown at Tom Holland. And the keyframes for that look a lot more sensible, I think. Get ready. Get thyself ready. Okay. There it is. So start at x all the way to the left and rotation 0 degrees. And then we go all the way to the right, rotate it 1 turn, y is 0. And then midway through, on the way back, we do that goes up a little bit. And because of the magic of transitions and keyframes, we just kind of get this nice shield UE going on. And so, thank you. I do parties.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, AJ. Does anybody have any questions for AJ? And AJ, please repeat the questions for the stream, which I did get working. So cool.
Good job.
Raise a hand if anyone has any questions.
Yes, you in the back. Hey. Hey.
Yeah. Where do you do parties?
Well, it depends on the client, but usually houses or coffee shops.
Okay. Can I come to the next one?
Yeah, we're doing another one on the last Friday of this month at Communal, 9 to 5. Yeah, you're in.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any more?
Okay. Yeah.
Could you please send these files to us? Because these files, they're called the text which you have just shown to us.
I tried to take a couple photos, but it didn't work.
My bros, the question is, can I send the code over to the bros, the slides, too? And I can, and I will.
Put them on the Discord?
On the Discord, good idea. Thank you, Zico.
And the DEVx website will also have a link, so you can watch the video there and just grab a screen grab.
Enjoy the show one more time.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, we can move along. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you, AJ. Appreciate you. Okay. Next up, please, everyone, welcome Kanad up to the stage to present his talk. Let's see if this connects. Let me move that over. There.
Sick.
Perfect. Take it away.
Do we have this thing working?
Let's see.
Hell yeah. Where's my shadow? There you go. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Good to know everybody's awake. Before we start, let's do a quick poll. How many of you are looking for a new job this year? Cool. How many of you are looking to get promoted this year? One guy in the back, 2 guys in the back. And how many of you are trying to, well, we have a winner. And how many of you are trying to switch your jobs from engineering to management this year? Good, I'm in the right crowd. My name is Kanad Bahalkar. There I am. I run a tech startup called Potion. I'm an engineer by trade who became a startup founder somewhat by accident, somewhat by design. I did my master's in Boston, then I worked at it as an engineer for a while. Then I started my first startup. We built a search engine to find and remove illegal content from the web. That startup got acquired by one of our competitors. Then I joined another startup where we built a camera to detect sleeping and breathing disorders in kids who have those disorders, like sleep apnea and stuff like that. That startup got acquired by Google. Then I worked at Google as a SWE for a few years, got insanely bored, and started my current startup called Potion. At Potion, we have an AI that makes videos for sales and marketing professionals. And I'm insanely proud to say that we have over 20,000 people on the platform. We have raised millions of dollars in multiple rounds of funding. We have built a really strong technical team. And our customers have generated over 10 million videos using our product. I'm not sharing this to brag, but to impress upon you that I have seen the entire gamut from being an independent contributor as an engineer to being a manager to starting an entire company and running it well. I have learned, whoa, can I go back? There you go. In my years of experience, I have learned something really crucial. One important skill that every engineer, every technical person must learn. What do you think? What gets you a new job? Better coding skills? Being a better engineer? Being a better programmer? Or being a better speaker?
Effective communication.
Effective communication, you nailed it. What if I was to tell you that the secret is that speaking is a skill, just like coding. You were not born with coding skills. You learned it. You can learn speaking as well. To learn speaking, you must master the game. The game has 4 levels: content, appearance, vocals, and vibe. Content, appearance, vocals, and vibe. We're going to dive into each of these levels right now. By the end of this talk, you will know how to structure your speaks, how to communicate effectively. You're not going to be an effective communicator in like the next 5 minutes, but at least you'll know the structure, at least you'll know the logic of what to do with these 4 levels. Level 1 is content. Content is what you say, the words, the phrases, the paragraphs that you use in your speeches. Content has 4 sub-levels underneath it: hook, structure, evidence, and conclusion. A hook is something that you use to engage the audience. When this guy came on, he was like, "Is everybody excited?" That is a hook. When I came on the stage, "Is everybody an engineer?" That is also a hook. Engage the audience first. Next part is the structure. That's the body of your message. What you say, the content must be packaged in a nice body that has a bunch of evidence, maybe personal anecdotes, maybe stories, maybe some data points to make sure that your story actually is useful to the audience. Lastly, conclusion. When you end your speaks, talks, presentations, interviews, or one-on-one meetings, make sure that you conclude whatever you're saying in a 1 or 2 line sentence. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think we all know that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So the next 3 levels are about how you say it, and this is where people like me and you and almost all engineers F up. Level 2, that's appearance. It's what they see when you take the stage. And the stage can be this, a stage can be a one-on-one, a stage can be a Zoom call, a stage can be anything when you are the spotlight. This level also has 4 levels underneath it. Do you guys see a pattern? 4 levels of appearance: body language, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact. Body language is owning the stage, standing upright, not slouched, not closed off, making sure that your opinions and your ideas are communicated clearly, kind of like what AJ did. Gestures is what you do with your hands. If you put your hands behind or in your pocket, you come off as a closed off person, not confident. Use your hands, and make sure you're not drowning. Use your hands in a nice little way. Facial expressions. If you deliver your presentations with a poker face like this, nobody is going to listen. Make sure that your face actually expresses what you feel. And lastly, eye contact. If you're looking up, trying to grasp ideas from thin air, your talks, presentations are not going to land. Have soft eye contact with the audience. Next level is vocals. It's how you sound. 4 sub-levels under vocals: tonality, assertiveness, vocal clarity, and vocal variety. Tonality is by far the most underrated skills that we all must learn. There are 3 kinds of tonalities. Where am I? Let me go back real quick. There are 3 kinds of tonalities: validation seeking, neutral validation, and validation breaking. When a cop stops you on the street, are they saying, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, can you stop?" You see my pitch goes up at the end? That means I'm seeking permission. When we present our ideas, most of the times engineers actually seek permission. They want the validation that other people should like our ideas. That's validation seeking. But validation breaking and neutral validation is when a cop talks to you, "Hey, stop right now." They're breaking the validation. They don't expect you to give them validation. They expect you to act on whatever they're saying. Your tonality needs to be validation neutral with slight touch of breaking validation. Assertiveness. Are you saying things firmly? Do you have firm belief in your ideas? Or are you wishy-washy? Vocal clarity is, are you enunciating and pronouncing your words and sentences clearly? Or are you just mumbling? And vocal variety is, are you incorporating pauses? Are you incorporating different pitches and volume in your speeches or presentations or interviews? Last, and my favorite level, is vibe. Vibe is what you exude when you are on the stage. Again, 4 sub-levels under vibe: confidence, smoothness, energy, and charisma. We all know what confidence is what you carry within, how you feel about yourself, and can you express yourself effectively. Energy is, are you actually coming from a place to give value versus, "Hey, I want this job, please, can you give me this job?" Versus, "I am here to share my ideas. I want to present what I have to you, so hopefully our lives can be better." Smoothness is, are you going to sound choppy when you say this, or do you sound flowy? Ideas just come through you. When you explain why you chose to use this tool or use this piece of logic in your algorithm, that's smoothness. And charisma is when you're actually present with your audience. You care about them. You're with them. You're building something together. That's being charismatic. So those are the 4 levels of effective communicators. In conclusion, we have 4 levels. Repeat after me. What do we have? Content, appearance, vocals, and vibe. Remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It took me 15 years to realize that your annual salary, your income, and even your net worth is directly proportional to how well you speak. So you must learn this skill and practice, practice, and practice. Here's where I plug my own group in here. I run a group called Speech Fluence where we meet every single week, practice public speaking. Over 100 leaders, managers, what have you, founders are in this cohort. And for DEVx community, I'm going to make a small cohort specifically for engineers who are looking to get a new job in 2026. 4 to 6 people will meet every week and practice public speaking, professional communication until we become effective communicators. From a shy guy like me if you're an introvert or a shy person, I promise you, you will be a quiet, confident person by the time you're done. Thank you for your time.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Kanad. I want to say very, very inspirational. Do we have any questions for Kanad? That was great material. I'm sure we have a few. Can you raise the hands?
Way back in there.
Way back in there.
What was that?
How to join this club?
Come and talk to me after this, or you can sign up on speechfluence.com, but I only take in people who I've personally interacted with.
Excellent.
Cool?
Anyone else? If not, I think you nailed it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Kanad. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. All right. Check, check, check. Wow, that was great. My little plug before I get to my talk is if you guys want to do a talk at DevX, go to DevX.network. Check us out. How's the mic coming through? Is it good?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Cool. This could be a platform for you guys to really execute on some of the material that Kanad put forth for you today. So again, really appreciate it. Look forward to hearing more about speechfluence.com in the coming future. So let's go ahead and I'll just start by introducing myself once I find my slides. Here we go. Okay, cool. All right, hope everyone's really inspired, fired up. Yeah? Show of hands? Cool, cool. All right. Here, I'm going to be really quick on this. I just wanted to share a little walkthrough on something I've been really passionate and interested in throughout all of last year and even moving into 2026. Just want to introduce myself. I'm Sam Holmes for the stream. Hello. I'm not going to go too much into about me. I'm just going to go into the content. So open code. It's an open source AI coding agent. Who here uses AI? Okay, cool, cool. For those of you who are just getting started, this might be your start. What is open code? So open code is a coding agent assistant, similar to something like Cloud Code. Have you guys heard of that? Cool, cool. Does anyone use Cursor? Cursor, cool, yeah. Similar to those types of things. For those of you who are unfamiliar, an agent is sort of like talking to ChatGPT, but it does things for you. In this case, open code is really specifically, purposely built to build for you, code for you, that sort of thing. It has multiple interfaces, terminal, desktop, IDE, integrations, as well as, hello? Can you hear me okay? Mic check, okay. All right, cool, cool. It has a few interfaces, terminal, a desktop application, as well as an IDE integration through things like Cursor, VS Code, and that sort of thing. It works with any LLM provider you can think of. So you're not locked into, say, Anthropic, OpenAI, or anything like that, because it is open source. Let's see. Why would you want to use open code over any other agent? That's a really good question, right? So the first one is the primary one, I think, is it's open source. That means you can peer into it, you can hack on it, and you can really do more than just accept whatever the product gives you or whatever the vendors give you for the product. So big, big win there. It uses Claude, Anthropic, and Open, I think a few other models by subscription as well. So you can lock it. You don't have to get stuck with one particular vendor. Say OpenAI comes out with a new model that's way better than Anthropic, and you've been paying Anthropic's subscription max plan or whatnot. And so you're kind of locked into that without making a big financial decision. So this gives you a chance to try out models on the rate tier or the token tier without really needing to switch whole editors or workflows, so to speak. Everything is customizable, and if it isn't, it's open source. So if there's something it doesn't do that you want it to do, you can probably hack together a different version of it. So that's one of the benefits. It's also extensible with MCP servers and plugins as well. And it's actually polished and pretty stable. Caveat on stable, sometimes it can break. They move really fast, the team, which I've kind of maintained some close eyes on. So sometimes things could break, but relatively polished, great looking app. Best terminal experience AI coding agent by far, in my opinion. So quick, just run through on how to get started, but of course you can find all this on their website, which I will link to at the end. You install it with a one-liner, which you can copy and paste from opencode.ai. You can also install it using one of these package managers as well. We got Brew, NPM, Cocoa, and whatnot. Once you have it installed, you might want to go to your project in a terminal, and it's as simple as running connect to start connecting to a provider. You might want to use Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, and more, and pay for the token tier, or OpenCode does offer a provider themselves that links out to other models, and you can pay per token there. And that's a really curated experience, recommended for beginners just to try it out and then dig in further. So once you go into your project, you'll want to navigate to your project, run OpenCode in the terminal, and then the first thing you probably want to do is run init, which is a way that OpenCode initializes your project with an agents.md file. Who here knows or is familiar with the experience of setting up a Claude.md or an agents.md file? Okay, a few. Cool, cool. All right, so what this file does is basically describe to the agent basically the primer of your project, how it's structured, what code base it is, some of the patterns it sees. It will bake all that in.
Step-by-step structured prompts.
Thank you. Step-by-step structured prompts for the agent to start with. It's kind of like the package JSON for those of you who know what that is in the node space, but for agents. Cool. Let's run over some of the core features of how it works. For those of you that used other agents, it's very similar in the respect that you can use the @ symbol to reference files in your prompts. As you prompt, you type in an @ symbol and fuzzy find the file that you like to reference and describe for your prompt, telling the agent, hey, what I want to do with this file, or describe this file and whatnot. So file reference is a thing. It also has a great feature called undo and redo. So if you make a mistake, you can undo or redo these changes. That's similar to Cursor's undo and redo if you used that before. But this uses Git under the hood for file restoration. So your project has to be a Git project in order for this to work. But it works pretty seamlessly for you to be able to pick up where you left off or undo or restore changes. Pretty straightforward there. You can run shell commands within it as well with a exclamation mark character, which will allow you to take the output of that command and include it inside of the context window for the agent. That allows them to see into a specific command that you want to run and say, hey, why isn't this working? Or describe what this command is doing, that sort of thing. So here's some examples. You can run a test. If the test is failing, you can tell the agent, hey, why is the test failing? It can then go ahead and figure that out for you. You can say, hey, what's the status of my repo? What is tell me more about this project structure with ls. Whatever you can do in bash or in the terminal, you can do with this command. Another feature that they have that they call agents, not to be confusing it with itself being an agent, but they have this thing called agents, which are built-in agents that are sort of like modes, right? You can say, has anyone used like Cursor's planning, ask mode, right? Couple of hands. Okay, so what that means is you can say, I'm going to go into ask mode. It's not going to do anything to my project. I just want to ask questions, and it will not touch my files. It will just tell me information to read files. Planning mode is another mode in Cursor that will allow you to say, hey, I'd like to do something, but don't do it yet. Just plan it out so I can see what you're going to do. Then we can execute on that. So we have very similar agents for the job in OpenCode. One is a build, which will do the full development access, reading, writing files, do all the work. But plan mode is where you'll do like read-only analysis. They don't have an ask mode quite yet by default. And then it also has this idea of subagents. Who's familiar with subagents in Cursor? Okay, only a couple of hands. So subagents in Cursor allows agents. I'm going over this really quickly, but I want to make sure that we get to the good stuff. I'll also demo this as well.
Sub-agents work output quality is much less compared to the main agent. You have to clarify that.
True. So subagents are a little bit less quality, as this gentleman mentioned, but
That's up your entire project.
yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to have to talk more about that experience later. So subagents are a way in which a main agent or primary agent can then spin off subagents to go and do other tasks in parallel, or to not waste the context window at the top. We'll get in a little bit. We might not get too much into that, so I recommend reading more on that. It's a little bit of a powerful way to kind of do more multi-step research and things like that.
Can I give a very short example?
Sure.
Primary agent can do a full context translation of any text. Sub-agent will do literal translation. That's the difference.
Interesting.
Thinking and just what the task is. So I can't figure out why that is happening, but it's a huge problem.
Interesting.
There's no reasoning. There's no thought process happening.
Interesting, yeah. So you're going to have to maybe sidebar a little bit more on that. I'm kind of interested in hearing more of your experience with subagents. Okay, moving on. You can also define in OpenCode custom agents, which is your own mode or predefined mode, so to speak. The instructing. Can you hear me? Okay. Everything okay? All right. That was weird. All right. Back to it. You can create your own agents. These are simply just markdown files that tell the OpenCode how that agent should operate. So this allows you to create a planner. Remember how I mentioned OpenCode doesn't come with an ask mode? You can create an ask mode, or you could create a reviewer. You can create an agent that does any other type of thing that you think of. And inside this markdown file, you can be very specific on how you describe, be very specific in describing how your agent goes about doing the thing that you want it to do. In addition to that, you can also set certain tools that it's allowed to use, as well as what mode it runs in, which is either sub-agent or a primary agent mode. It can run in both or one or the other. Of course, a lot of agentic work, meaning your computer doing things outside of your control. You might kind of be worried, what if it reads and writes files that you don't want it to do? Of course, OpenCode comes with full agent permissions, fine-grained control, for you to be able to say, hey, in plan mode, I don't want their permission to edit or deny or do. You can say, hey, ask me every time my agent's about to do something, or deny it access to a file or something. This gets very specific, so I definitely recommend reading the documentation on this, but you have control over what your agent does. Who here knows what an MCP server is? All right, good show of hands. So you get full support for MCP servers, of course. I'm going to skip over this since I don't want to waste too much time or use too much of our time, I should say, if people know about this, but MCP servers allow your agent to do all sorts of various things that might not come out of the box. So you can connect to a local MCP server or a remote one that gives it more capabilities, say connecting to GitHub or some other service or some sort of thing. It's like the plug-in mechanism for services. Here's an example of how to set up a remote MCP server using, let's say, example using Sentry. You want it to connect to your error logs and act upon that. Here's an example of setting up a local MCP server as well. Maybe this is some Node.js project or something that gives you access to your browser and all of your browser history. No, I'm kidding. Commands and keybinds. I'll kind of move quickly over this as well. You get some standard commands with /. You can say, hey, tell me some help dialog. The init one we already went over. You can say new which is to start a new session. So it has a full session support, so you can switch out different contexts and pick up where you left off with sessions. Sharing is a really interesting one, which is you can share full conversation online, get a link to it and share it, say, hey, look what I did or what I found that was pretty novel. So that's pretty cool. As well as the standard compact. Anyone that uses an agent, you know the context window is a resource that can quickly be used up. So compact allows you to refresh that resource. Let's see, default keybinds. A lot of key bindings. I'm not going to go over too much of that because you can do that all through help. But yeah, you have this leader mechanism in the terminal, which I'll showcase later. Customization. You can customize it with themes. You can also set it to your default terminal theme, which is really nice. So it sticks to whatever terminal theme that you use. Configuration file. We kind of went over how some of the configurations you would add, but you would add it in your home directory .config opencode.json. Project rules. Let's see. Specific. Here is where you can do like specific instructions that goes in like the root directory that says, hey, AI reads certain things for context. It defines coding standards. It can also specify conventions and different things like that. And how you would do that is either .agents and an agents.md file within OpenCode config file itself, or the agents.md file within your project. So you have two places, one that's more global and one that's more local to your project. Sharing and collaboration. I mentioned this already. You can share, creates a shareable link. It looks sort of like this, and that's a cool little feature as well. I already mentioned that. Export conversations. You can also export it and then edit it within your code editor, so that's really cool. And I will also post all these slides if I'm going too fast, but I realize there's a lot of material here that I'm trying to cover. I just want to finally mention some pro tips, some efficient prompting kind of guidelines. Be specific, use file references when you're doing your coding. So that means using the @ symbol here. Provide context as like why or what you're doing. These are some of the typical things you would do. If you're new to using agents, these are good tips. But if you have used agents, you probably discovered these yourself. You can also use images to drag and drop into your terminal, which is pretty cool. And you can iterate, and then finally, after that, iterate by planning first, using the planning agent, see what it's going to do, and really iterate over the plan, and then build. So here's an example of a workflow. You might say tab to plan mode, right? You might say when the user deletes a note, flag it as deleted, create a screen showing recently deleted notes, allow undeleted or permanent deletion, right? Then you will review and provide feedback on the plan it comes up with. And then once you're satisfied with that plan, you will then tab to build mode and say, sounds good, let's make these changes, and then it will go off and do the thing. Cool? So finally, best practices, commit agents.md to your repo. That's pretty good because you don't want to restart with kind of a fresh slate. You want to kind of put things in here that really keeps a track on like, here's what the project is for the agent. And then use the plan mode for complex features. This is a bit of a recap. Run compact to reduce the context size. Once you get far into your action or activity with the agent, you might want to compact that and say, hey, let's refresh this context window, because the more that builds up, the more your agent might kind of lose track of what it's doing. It's kind of like giving it a break, a lunch break, so to speak, which we all had. Create custom agents for repetitive tasks. So this is really key here. You might find yourself doing a thing or part of your workflow often like reviewing code. So you might actually solidify that into an agent itself. And then now that agent has all of the pre-written instructions and ideas on how to do what you've already done multiple times. So it's very powerful. Who's excited for a demo after all that talk? All right, awesome. Sweet. I know that was a lot more than I thought. Let's see here. Let me tab open over here to a demo. 1 second. You know what I should do? Display mirror. Okay, that's not going to do. Okay, so this is my terminal. I'll go ahead and go to a personal project here. I'm using Ghosty, by the way. Any Ghosty users out there? One. Okay, if you haven't heard of Ghosty, that's a whole other talk that I'll have to give. Ghosty is a great terminal app. I prefer it over the default terminal or iTerm that comes with Mac OS. iTerm doesn't, but anyway. Let's go here into let's create a new directory really quick. What should we create? Any show of hands? Anything cool?
Tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe. I like that. Tic-tac-toe. So I'm going to cd, z personal, cd tick. I'll just, you know what, screw it. Go here. Tic-tac-toe. Okay. Now we started a fresh project, right? There's nothing in here. So what I'll do is I'll run open code. And what you're presented with is this beautiful interface. Look at that. This is a terminal app, right? So what you got here is Command P, or Control P rather. You got your kind of like command palette. You can do everything that I talked about as far as like the key bindings. These are all your commands here, and you can also see on the right the key bindings. So what I will do here is run /init. Well, actually, there's nothing in here, so don't really need to do that for a new project. Usually it's for an existing project, which is create update agents. So what I'll do is I will switch over to plan mode with tab. You see I hit the tab key, and see in the bottom left where it says plan? I will also switch the model here that you see. I'm on Claude Sonnet through Anthropic, but I'll go ahead and switch it to, let's do Command P, and I'll do model, switch model, and I can type Opus 4.5. which is the best model right now, I would say, currently. But you notice how it says Open Router right there? There's so many models, providers connected to OpenCode that you might actually have the same model with different providers. Open Router is a model provider not specifically through Anthropic, directly through Anthropic, but a separate provider. So be aware of that when you're using this. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to Anthropic under Anthropic 4.5, which is connected to my, my account, which I hope I have enough credits or I haven't used up too much for the month. So let's see here. Create me a tic-tac-toe app. How would you do that using, what type of tech do you guys like to use? Bun, Node? Node? Okay. Node? Oh, wow. Using C? No, okay. Using Node.js. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's say we want to add a bit of, what's your favorite framework? Any show of hands of a framework? Astral? Astro. Astro. Use Astro. I have never used Astro before. So this should be fun. Use Astro, please. Okay, so I'll hit the enter and it will start running away. And so this is what an agent looks like. This is similar to Claude Code. And I'll zoom out a little bit here. But you can kind of see it's working away. And what you see is at the top, the prompt that I gave, and then here's the output. You can see it worked on some things here, and it came up with a plan. Looks like it says it's going to use Astro, static site framework as requested, runtime Node.js. I'll zoom in a little bit more. Can everyone see that okay? Okay. It's going to use TypeScript for safety, which is nice. I like that. Vanilla JS, CSS for game logic, and styling. Okay, cool. This looks like a good structure. We got the source directory, some components, some layout. All right, public. This is pretty good. I'm not a pro, let's say, so this is valid feedback. I'll I won't have any feedback, so I'll hit tab over to, I have a lot of other agents. As you can see, as I'm tabbing, it's going through all these agents that I've created, right? But a quicker way, if you have a lot of them, is probably go to your command palette with Control P and type in agents, switch agent. And from here, I can just fuzzy find build, right? Say, okay, build, native agent. Says this looks good. Go.
May I say something?
Sure.
So, like with your initial prompt,
Mhm.
if you actually specify your agent to create an MD file with a specific name, you're going to prevent your agent actually forgetting the initial MD that it prepared by itself. So if you don't specify that, it's going to create an MD file by itself. But as the project moves along or the task goes along, it overwrites that or creates a new one completely forgetting. That's one of the major problems.
Interesting.
So make sure that you name your MD file for planning, and then you can recall that MD file to go back.
That's a good point. So different workflows here, but one workflow this gentleman was mentioning. What was your name, by the way?
G.
G. Okay, cool. Thank you, G. He was mentioning that you can optionally, what I'm about to do is just forget this plan that was written up.
Definitely.
But what G was mentioning is you can actually specify a file name and say, write that plan to that file name so we have that plan saved or written to a file for if we want to pick this up later. One thing that I will note about OpenCode that makes it somewhat convenient if you don't want to do that is you can switch back to an old session and pull up some the old context window. So you have an option there. There's a lot of features in OpenCode. Probably not enough time for me to go over everything, but I'll say it looks good to go. Yeah, it looks good. And now it will start writing some things. So first thing it will do is it will write a checklist of things to do, as you can see, and it looks like it will start writing a bunch of stuff. You can click to expand out and see kind of into what it's doing, but you know, do you really want to read things? You just want to vibe, right? So while it's doing that, it might take a moment. I'll let that run and we'll check up on that, and I will instead go over to back to the slides, because there's one more thing I want to show you guys, which is more recently, as of December, OpenCode has launched a desktop app. Whoa, why is that so large? Ta-da! That does not look good on the projector. So can anyone see that? Let me turn on these lights a little bit. There we go. The theme isn't too good, so I'm going to change that. So this is a GUI instead of a terminal UI, right? Most people are not that are comfortable in terminal. OpenCode has that, but it also has a GUI, which is nice. One thing that might be nice about it is you get your Command P palette. I'm going to change the theme to something light so everyone can see. Let's see. Solarize. Cappuccino. Where is a light theme? Gosh. Developers and their dark themes, huh? This app, I'll forewarn you, is super beta right now. Dracula Monokai. Maybe it's because I'm in, that's what it is. Whoa, okay. It was because I was in dark mode. That was my bad. All right, so here it is. This is similar to something you would see in Cursor, right? You got your prompt here, and you got your build. You can use your mouse. You also have your projects over here. So I can actually go ahead and up at the top, or Command P, search for open project. And then let's go ahead and find that personal project here. Open project. Go to personal tic-tac-toe, and then open that up. And then it's still working on it over here. So let's see. It might actually be done. Okay, cool. Your project is ready. And so now, let's go ahead and run that really quick. I'll copy this command to run OpenCode. I'll open a new terminal window. run npm run dev, and then we'll go ahead and see this tic-tac-toe app. Look how beautiful that is. Okay. Question is, does it work? Yeah, it looks like it does. And I am too good. Oh, look at that. It's a draw with myself. So a couple of features I'll run through over the open code TUI is that a lot of things are similar, but you have more of that familiar command P palette. And I wanted to show you some of the cool things I was doing. So I'll do a knit here that I could do for the project, but instead, what one thing would you like to change about this app, let's say? Light mode? That would be nice. Let's make a toggle for light mode. Okay. And so it's similarly going to start a new session, and it's using the same model. There's also this feature called like thinking level. It's using a high thinking level. But you get a little bit more, niceties like, hey, this UI tells me what it's doing. It's a lot more cleaner. So this is really fantastic. For an open source project, this is like amazing, right? Once it starts editing, though, you can see the edits, the file edits it's making.
It's a VS Code fork, though, no?
This is not a VS Code fork.
It's by itself?
This is a full
Open source by itself?
open source by itself. Yeah, so pretty cool. You can check the website out over here. That's what I wanted to show. Open code here. Their website's really nice and clean. Here's the install. The docs, you can go to the GitHub, and this is what's most important. You can fork this. You can fork this whole project, and you can open up open code in this project and have open code change open code. So when you open open code, it would be a whole new open code. Okay. Anyway, one final thing, if it does work, it says the light mode is complete. It's not doing it right now. Oh, there's a button over here to open up the terminal at the top right. So you have your terminal here. So it's kind of like a code editor without needing to code. There's one other thing that it doesn't seem to be doing, but in another project it did. I'll just showcase that over here. I was using it to prompt trying to create like my own Git client, right? What's cool is once it's working, it gives you like a full review of the code, and you can click on the review here and see all the files on the right and just read what it has done. And so that was very nice. It kind of gives you this good flow of like being able to talk to it and just look at the code. So it's something similar to Cursor, but use whatever model you want and also hack on it. So anyway, that was the one more thing. And thank you. Any other questions?
That was great, thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Sure. Yes.
So, like, as much of a blessing as MCPs are, right? We're at a point where there's a lot. Have you seen anything that can be used for that, where it can selectively pick MCPs? So, let's say you're not loading 120 of them at a time, and you're showing context.
Great question. Great question. So the question was, as great as MCPs are, which allow us to do so many different things with our agents, they're also not just a blessing, but also a curse in that the more MCP servers that you add to your agent, the more context you are using, more context you're using in your agent's context window, which can cause it to be less performant, right? Is there anything that I know of that has improved upon this? Yes, there's one thing. I'm really liking Claude Code for what they call advanced tool use. They only have it in Claude Code. I believe OpenCode doesn't have anything like this. But in their advanced tool use, they have a single tool called the search tool. It's kind of like the toolbox, right? And it's able to look into the toolbox to find another tool. So it basically compacts all your tools into a single tool to search for your tools. So it doesn't get loaded right away, and not all of them get loaded when you just need one thing, right, when you're doing a task. I thought that was really clever and a really brilliant way to solve this problem. And as far as I know, Claude Code is the only agent. Even Cursor, I don't think, does this necessarily, but it's the only one that is doing this, and I think it's the right thing. And I've been bugging Dax, the creator of OpenCode, to do this in OpenCode. So maybe if you guys are interested, in doing some open source work, try to hack it in yourself. You know, it's open source. So, great question. I hope that answers. Yes, Key.
If I may add something about MCPs.
Yes.
Just because the end user was able to say hi and bye to a large language model, that was not the revolution. Plus, the AI systems has been in our lives. It somehow feed-forward neural networks, recurrent neural networks for the last 2 decades. But model context protocol, and invented by Anthropic, it is as important as the TCP/IP protocol. So when we say model context protocol, large language model, then we have conversational models. It's the model's context protocol of doing actual jobs, meaning AI became alive with all the tools. That's what it is. I just wanted to add.
Very, very good point for any of those that catch that. Not necessarily the question, but a good point, which is MCP is a very important tool because it's a protocol similar to TCP or HTTP that kind of
That was a turning point.
yeah, is a turning point in the tech stack. So a lot of people are excited about it, and it's still under development. Who knows what the next iteration of that protocol will look like and what it will do. So very important point. If you don't know what MCP server, definitely go home and open up ChatGPT and do your research, because who Googles, right? Ask ChatGPT or Anthropic or whatever your preferred LLM is. Good point. Any other questions? Yes, gentleman over here.
Can you use open source models and you have to pay like Olama models?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Like open source LLMs, so you don't have to pay like Claude or Gemini.
This is a good point that I didn't mention, but yes, the question was, can you use any open source models or free models so you don't have to pay for open code, for using open code, let's say? The answer is yes. So open code is not going to stop you from using whatever model you like as long as it uses the right provider protocol. I think OpenAI kind of standard or de facto standardized the protocol there. But that means that you can use your local models. If you want to run a local model using LLM Studio, I have done so, and you can use, if you have the hardware, you can run your own model locally and connect to it with open code. And of course, you can also find some other providers like OpenRouter or some maybe Kimi K2, GLM. There's all kinds of, not as probably high tier but freer or cheaper models that you can use out there, open source, whatever. So yeah, you have the freedom to use whatever, bring your own model or use whatever model you can get access to. So free or otherwise. So.
And yes, specifically it does work with Olama as well.
Good point. It does work with Olama as well. So if you don't want to use LM Studios and you like Olama, it does work with that as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
which self-hosted models have you plugged into open code?
Which self-hosted models have I used with OpenCode? Earlier on, I was using a lot of the first models I was using, if I remember correctly. Gosh, it was only last year, but it feels like so long ago. I used, let me see here. I did try DeepSeek, but I don't know if the tool calling was as good with DeepSeek. Let me quickly just pop in here really quick. I have LM Studios and jolt my memory. I think I was using, I think it was either GLM, it was Kimi K2, I think, when I got excited because it was the first like open weight and local model that you can run effectively on some hardware, a Mac, hardware like high-end Mac, and it can do significantly good tool calling. So that was one I was using. Oh, Quinn 3 Coder was one I used. Quinn 3 Coder was pretty good. And GPT OSS. I like Quinn 3 Coder, but a lot of the times I feel like these local models, unless you have really good hardware, you're not going to get much performance or much intelligence out of them unless you have like, a rack of different, of like great GPUs or something like that. A lot of expensive hardware. So just running on this high-end MacBook Pro, I was only really effectively to get good, decent performance out of these local models under the quantization of like 7 or 4 or 8, which if you're into any of this means it's kind of compressed. It's not the full model, different floating point.
Any heating problems?
Yeah. And yeah, heating problems. Although these Mac machines are pretty good at that. Yes?
Recently, Olama does have cloud-hosted models, so you don't have to, you can still use Olama and reference their cloud-hosted models.
This is a really good point that you make, which is sometimes you might not have the hardware to run, but there are cloud-hosted models that may either be free or very, very affordable that run these open source models on really beefy hardware. And that might be the better way to go because, one, you're not using all your resources on your machine and suffering the limitations of the machine. So that's a really great option as well, is that you get access to these services that might pop up using these open source models, maybe even build your own service, who knows. So it's up to you, it's the open source world. Yes?
I'll just jump on that. If you have modern hardware, GPT OSS 20 billion parameters is pretty good. If you have higher end hardware, what the 120B one is good. You know, I would suggest going with a smaller model with less quantization before you go for a larger model with more quantization for GPT, specifically because it's relatively dense, so it gets dumber a lot quicker when you quantize it down.
Cool. Good point. I'm not going to repeat that because there was a lot to unpack there. But if you guys want a sidebar with Tony, he does have a lot of expertise in this subject. He's done a talk last year specifically on running your own models. So he's the guy to talk to about running your own local models and the pitfalls there and whatnot. So thank you, Tony. Appreciate it. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. All right. To close off, since I am the last speaker, I want to do a quick round of applause for all of our speakers today. Awesome content today. Kanad, AJ, myself, but more so the others. I appreciate you guys for taking the time to provide this inspiration to our community. So thank you. I appreciate it. Final segment of our agenda today is announcements. This is your chance to share with the community a quick short blurb about yourself, 15 seconds, no more, so it's low pressure, you know. Just say hi if you're new, who you are, what you're about, why you're here, who you're looking to connect to. So introduce yourselves, share an announcement, maybe that might be, like I said, who you are, who you're looking to connect with, and then also projects or ideas that you have. That's also an opportunity for you to say, hey, this is what I'm about. Maybe you'll find someone else who's also into that as well. As well as an opportunity to share other events and activities that you might know of on the broader community in the developer space here in San Diego. So that's your opportunity to say, you know, plug whatever it is you want to plug. So keeping it short, 15 seconds, concise, this is your opportunity. So is any show of hands if anyone wants to make a quick community announcement? Sure, come right up ahead. Perfect. Okay, let's see here. Check. Just tell us who you are and what you're about.
Okay, so I'm Sarah. This is my first time here. I figured I might as well show up here. I don't have anything specific to say. I'm a WordPress developer. I work for an all-remote company and haven't connected a lot locally, so that's why I'm here. Other than tech, I love crafting and like building stuff. So if anybody wants to talk like making looms with CNCs is my latest thing. I'm all about that.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That's awesome. I like the builder mindset. Over the holidays, I was getting so bored doing nothing. I wanted to build. And I asked people, hey, should we just do some arts and crafts? It was so funny. Everyone was like, what? Yeah, we just grabbed some boxes, some cardboard boxes, some tape, and build stuff. I'm also that way. I'm a very big builder, so we'll probably chat after. Anyone else want to introduce themselves, mention something? Yeah, come on up stage. Quick 15 seconds, who you are, what you're all about.
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Elizabeth. I'm also for the first time here. So I'm running a company. I'm a CEO of some software one, and I'm also running a couple of side projects. I just back to San Diego. I've been living in probably around 10 countries so far. Originally I'm from Ukraine, and I'm looking forward to reconnecting with everybody. So I'm up for like learning about some interesting events that are going on in the city, and I'm also living downtown. If anybody want to do some kind of a virtual in-person co-working, let me know, because sometimes like just like sitting by yourself like and working from home, it's a great idea, but not for every single day. So that's pretty much it, and looking forward to talking to you in person and probably geeking out on some frameworks and like the best setup for vibe code and whatever. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you for coming, by the way. We were at our first co-working event this year, so we'll expect to see more of that following into 2026. So yeah, I would love to chat as well about setting some co-working spaces up for the community to hang out and just vibe together. So good stuff. Anyone else want to introduce themselves, say hi? Perfect. Come on up stage.
Hello, my name is Adonai. I'm also a founder of a hardware startup, UCSD. We've been developing a lot of sensors and a lot of embedded systems. I'm very interested also in connect with developers in San Diego. I'm here for like 2 years, so I don't know many people, but very nice to talk to you guys, and thank you.
Thank you. Remind me of your name again? Adonai. Okay, thank you, Adonai. Appreciate it. I know one other person to mention embedded systems here, so I'll have to find. Oh, there he is. So you guys can chat. Cool. Awesome. All right. Anyone else want to say hi? Make a quick announcement? Yeah, come on up stage.
I'm Alex. I'm a game developer. I also do embedded systems and other things. I am currently looking for work. I have about 12 years of experience in the game industry and coding.
Remind me of your name again? What was it? Alex, was it? All right. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Awesome. And then yourself, come on up. And if anyone else wants to come on up, they can kind of wait on the sidelines as well, so we don't have to keep. Cool.
Hi, I'm Ansh. I moved a year and a half ago. I work for my friend's company. He does agentic AI, so I was started there, but I want to get into embedded. So he's yeah. So that's why I wanted to connect with people, and because I relocated a year and a half ago, I don't know a lot of people here, so I was like, might as well get out and meet people. So, yeah.
Thank you, Ash. Sounds like we got 3 embedded systems. A bit of a trend here. Come on up. Let's say hi. Just a little bit about yourself. Your name?
Hi, my name is Kira. I've been here a couple times, but I've never introduced myself, so I'm here now. I'm a new grad. I'm looking for a job. I like to make apps. I just like making stuff pretty much. And basically, I'm here just to kind of talk to people, people in the industry, see what works for them, what doesn't work for them. And any people who are looking for a job right now, talk to me as well, so we can be in the trenches together. Yay.
I like that. Be in the trenches together. It's like war out there. No, I'm kidding. Come on up. Yeah. Tell us about yourself.
Hello, everyone. Okay. My name is Jason, and I'm currently an undergraduate student from UCSD. So in the meantime, I'm also a part-time developer at a San Diego-based company. I have data science background, but I got into computer science recently. I'm really passionate about it. So I'm just here to connect and really learn from everybody, excited about it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Come on up. Feel free.
Hey guys, I'm Trevor. I met AJ yesterday, and he invited me here. I'm a computer science graduate as of like 2 years ago, working in telecommunications as a front-end developer. And I have a question. Who here plays chess? Okay. I just made an app the other day for finding people to play chess with in public. It's just a small scheduling thing. If you're interested in it, come up to me afterwards and I'll get your email and you can sign up. It's all free. Just want to schedule some public chess meetups. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Trevor. It seems like there's more people that play chess than use agentic coding frameworks. I don't know. I was joking. Come on up. Yeah.
Hi, this is G. First time here. We are working on a multimodal AI agent.
Is it similar to writing code?
No, it's. I'll show you guys.
Okay, yeah, demo with G if you're interested in a multimodal agent. That sounds pretty cool. Definitely on topic. Yeah, come on up if you guys are in. Yeah, introduce yourself.
Hello, can you hear me? My name is Alexei. I work here at Apple in San Diego. Originally, you can tell by my accent, I'm originally from Russia, but traveled a bit to land first in Vancouver, Canada. Is there anyone from Canada? No? Canada is awesome, yeah. And San Diego as well, like, I kid you not. If they're this year trying to get more offline, so like that's why I decided to get my feet over here. I live in La Jolla, and if there's any macOS developers, come talk to me. We have a bunch of different interesting things we can discuss. macOS developers, yeah.
macOS developers. Okay, thanks, Alexei. That's awesome. Come on up. Fun fact about Canada is I think a fun fact about Canada is I know no facts about Canada. So go ahead.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. It's my first time as well. My name is Christian. I'm also an undergrad from UC San Diego, so I'll talk to you later. Yes. I'm majoring in cognitive science, so I have a project working with a professor. It's like a EEG headset tech for stroke patients. That's the only interesting I'm working on, so I'm more towards like hardware. But now I'm trying to dip into a little bit more coding, like app development, so I'll also talk to someone else about that. And yes, I'm also here to just expand my knowledge and maybe look for an internship or just like have fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Jonathan. I'm one of the organizers here. And recently, I'm a full stack software engineer. And recently, I've been spending a lot of time with Cloud Code. We're getting pretty close. You know, things aren't too serious yet. But what I've been doing is iterating a lot on improvement loops. So like using hooks, storing plans and storing all the sessions, and then writing tools that go back and review repeated errors that occur. So things like that. So really trying to like get the most that I can out of, currently it's Cloud Code, but in general it's sort of like these agentic loops that have little scripts that get called for things that are deterministic, linting, things like that. So that's where my head's at these days. I'd love to talk with other people who are maybe doing similar things, whether it's Cloud Code. If it is Cloud Code, super helpful. If it's not, but it's other things, yeah, I'd love to talk with you. Thank you.
Agents, all the rage these days. Okay. And I'm AJ. Okay, go ahead.
Hello. Very good. I would like to plug a couple meetups that we do. So there's a Tuesday night meetup that me and Jonathan go to, and Angel, every week in North County called North County Coders. We also do some co-working events. First Friday of the month. Is that true? Second Friday? Fourth. Okay. We do. Yeah. Fourth Friday up north, communal, in Oceanside, and then second Friday down here at Lily, probably. Lily in La Jolla. So come out. It's a good time. We co-work. We talk. We exchange ideas. And I'll be there.
Awesome. Thanks, AJ. Cool. All right. Perfect. I just got an idea, guys. No. All right. Well, thanks. Those are awesome announcements. I'm really happy to see such a diverse community get together and some of the cool things that are happening within San Diego. So thank you, guys. I appreciate all those cool announcements. So, yeah, thanks, AJ, for making a quick plug. We do have more events coming up. Check us out, DEVx.network. So our other announcement that we made last year, quick note, since we all introduced ourselves and we like to be a part of this community and share and stay connected, we did this little thing last year where we created a name tagging system on DEVx.network. This is your way of like grabbing a profile officially on DEVx and becoming an official member and saying, hey, this is who I am and what I'm about. So it's a very simple profile. It's just your information, cool little name tag, as well as some links to interesting things about you, your interest and skills. So it really showcases this is who I am and what I like, right? It's a cool anchor, a cool way of us to establish yourself. And as we move forward into the new year, we really hope to like build on top of this. So get your name tag at DEVx.network. And that's my final slide here. Join DEVx.network at join DEVx at DEVx.network. Get your name tag as well. If you're interested in doing a talk like this, and Kanad, thank you for your material on that. That really inspires me to do better at that and even makes me want to come up with even better material. You can submit a talk at DEVx.network as well. We also have a way of staying connected over Discord, LinkedIn, X, YouTube, and more. As well as we're all open source, so we have a GitHub. If you guys have finding an issue and you want to fix it, be the one to do it, or even chat with us on Discord and learn. So you can subscribe to our event calendar, and yeah, there's going to be a lot more that we're doing from here. So this is our center. So with all that said, I want to say thank you guys for your attention today, and thank you for coming, and have a great rest of DEVxSD. Appreciate it.